The WiSys Agility Warehouse Management System has a number of components built into it. I'm going to focus here on 4 of them today so you can get the basics. PO receiving with a put away option to a bin. You're going to hear me print a label that goes along with the product. And we're going to take a look at cycle counting, and we're going to do a simple warehouse shipment, which is really just confirm shipping items on an order. I'm going to come over and open up Agility on the desktop. So this is the Agility grid system. You can see here's an analytic. I'm going to close this component and open just a few that I want to use today. I'm going to use the item master, and I want to take a look at something in inventory for cycle counting. So I'm going to open up the tag status, and I'm going to open up the variance by item. And then I'm going to go back to my favorites and open order pick management. Okay. So let's do a little orientation. This is the WiSys Agility desktop, and that is compared to the Agility 360, which is running on my device. I'll go ahead and log into that. So you're looking at a web presentation of what's actually physically happening on my scanner. And I'm going to also open up Macola so we have a little orientation as to how these things are integrated. And I'm going to start with PO receiving, and we're going to open that order up. So order 8078 is what I'm going to use today. So here's my printed purchase order for 10,000. You can see that I've already received 2,000 against it. Go over here to the Agility on the desktop, do a little orientation here also. And it's a binned lotted item. And I'm just going to select this item, and then down below I have options to open up multiple documents in the system. So here's that same order, 8078. You can see here's 10,000 on order, 2,000 received. So let's just go over to the scan gun. And I'm going to use my finger to move the screen and do purchase order receiving. The order, I'm going to scan that. When you scan something, you can type, you can look up, or you can scan on that line. So if I were to scan something that doesn't belong to this order as an item, you can see it's validated that that item is not on the order that I'm trying to receive against. If I get it right, it lets me move to the next section. It has some defaults in here, so you can see that there's 8,000 remaining, and it's going to be going to my dock bin. That's my default for receiving. The product that I'm receiving actually has a barcoded lot number on it, so I can use that, or I could just type it in manually. When I do that, it wants to know the quantity. I'm going to type in 1,000. And you'll see here there's a little picture of a printer. That printer, I'm going to default that to my local desktop printer, and it'll remember that from now. I'm going to hit the Save button, and you'll hear a printout. So it connects the process of receiving and label printing all at the same time. These labels are stored inside of the Agility system. As long as we're here, I'll go ahead and refresh this screen. And there's the extra 1,000 that we've received. If we do that same thing in Macola, there's the 3,000. So it's got it immediately saved into the system, so I don't have to write it down or do anything else. Now, just to connect the dots on the label printing, I'm going to come over here to File, Options, go down to Documents, and just show you where that's saved. So we come in here to PO Receiving, and I have a label right here, and this label is connected. So whenever I do a PO receipt, I'm going to get this label. And you can have different labels for different items and have them saved in the system. Now that I've done that receiving, we'll just go ahead and look at that item in the multi-level item view, similar to what Macola does. So I'm going to look at that item, look at the location, and we'll click on bin. And you'll see here that in the system right now, I have 2,000 in the A200 bin, and I have the 1,000 that were just received at the dock. So let's come back to the scan gun. And I'll move that around. Okay, so I did the receipt here. And I'm going to go back. And now I'm going to click on Put Away. So that item is known to be at the dock by the system. So all I need to do is tell it where I'm going to put it. So I'm going to tell it, get that item, get that lot, and go put it in bin A100. That's the next available bin. And it asks me, says it's never been there before. And I'm going to put all 1,000 in that bin. Okay, as soon as I do that, if we go back to the system here, I just refresh this screen. It shows me this is what it was, and this is where it is now. So now I have that 1,000 moved from the dock to the A100 bin. So that's pretty easy. All right, let's clean up and let's take a look at cycle counting. So for cycle counting, I've gone ahead and run a batch. So this is my batch. And at the time I ran the batch, this item was in this bin, and there's a column here to show status. So I'm going to use the handheld scanner. Again, I'm going to close this app and go to cycle counting. Touch the screen, and I'm going to enter the batch number. And it's directing me to go to a bin to count. So physically, I'm going to go to an area that I need to count, and I don't need to know what to count. I just need to go to that bin and count what I find. So I'm going to go to the bin, and I'm going to go and count the item. I'm going to find the item in that bin. And the lot number, I'm going to find that on the package, and the quantity counted. So I'm going to count 2,000. I'm going to hit count. All right, so what did I do? I physically went to that bin, and I didn't have to write anything down. I just scanned what I found, and it was taken care of. If we come back to the grid, if we refresh this grid, you can see here that this item has been counted. There's a C here that shows its count status. And this is the count that I found. I counted 2,000 in that count right there. If I come over to a variance report and look at the same batch, you can see here that that item that I counted has a 0 variance. So I found exactly what the system thought I should find. And it shows me that data down below with the tag that it was counted. So that's how quick you can begin to cycle count with WiSys. And for our fourth option, we're going to take a look at a sales order. And my sales order today is 994. And you can see that it's a status 1 order. This particular item on this order, I need to ship 432. It's a status 1. So I'm just going to click this box and print a pick ticket that I want to use on demand. I'm going to have it print to the screen. And so here's my picking document. And it tells me dynamically where these products are. So it tells me they're located here and here. So if you're not using a directed app, you can always use this as a poor man's directed app, meaning that the piece of paper is going to tell you where to go. So let's go back over to the handheld. And that was marked and printed correctly. So at the handheld now, I'm going to go and select that order shipping. So if you're using a shipping application, you can confirm ship right on this handheld, and it will be ready to go through whatever shipping process you have secondarily. Okay, my sales order, I scan that. Again, if I scan something that doesn't belong to the sales order, it'll tell me I'm making a mistake. So there's the element of self-correction. If I get it right, and it directs me to that bin on the piece of paper, and it tells me to get the lot. And I'll just try it one more time. And it tells me to get the lot, and the quantity is 432. So I'm going to hit enter. And so I've just basically confirm shipped those items against that order. Let's go back to the Macola system here. Again, if we go to the Macola system for order entry, and we'll just look at that order. You'll see that this order is already at status 7, and it's ready to go through the billing and invoicing process if need be. Okay, so that's what we went through. Purchase order receiving and put away, label printing, inventory, counting, and simple warehouse shipping.